order the regular meeting of the November 7, 2024 Fitchburg Conservation Commission. Conservation Commission has 7 members. Members are citizens residing in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Commission is appointed by the City Council and serves on a volunteer basis. The Commission collaborates with the residents, businesses, and organizations to facilitate compliance with the 8 interests of the Wetlands Protection Act and the Fitchburg Wetlands Bylaw. Meetings of this commission are subject to and abide by the open meeting law. If you would like more information about any of these regulations, feel free to ask a commissioner, agent, or our environmental consultant. Thank you for your commitment to the conservation of our natural resources. Thank you for your patience as we navigate this hybrid meeting. The Commission requests that folks wishing to speak approach the podium and speak clearly into the microphone. And remote attendees, maintain your microphones on mute for privacy. If you would like to speak, use the raise your hand function to alert us of your intentions. Be advised this public meeting is being live streamed and recorded by Fitchburg Access Television. If a member of the in-person audience is recording this meeting, this is your opportunity to identify yourself for the public record. Seeing none, I'm going to call the roll. Commissioner Peltier?
Here.
Commissioner Christian?
Here.
Commissioner Donnelly?
Here.
Commissioner Wallace?
Here.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Here.
Commissioner Tantanarwat?
Here.
Commissioner Sairfield in attendance. Let's have the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Got a couple of announcements tonight. The first one is do you want to talk about the drought declaration, or do you want me to just read it?
That's fine.
Okay. The first one is about the MassDEP drought declaration, and Ms. Jamie's going to talk about that.
So we received an email from DEP last month in regards to the mild drought conditions declared for central and northeast regions of Massachusetts. Fitchburg falls into the category of level 1, a mild drought. And I'm sorry, can you not hear me? Sorry. Going forward, the way this affects incoming applications is we have to be mindful of riverfront applications or applications that are in the riverfront area and limit approval or withhold approval for some time until the declaration either changes or is withdrawn. We haven't had much rain in a long time.
Yeah. 75 days or something.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you. Also, the Fitchburg Conservation Commission is accepting applications for associate commissioners. If any member of the public would like more information, please let Lynn know. So, do we have the abutter notification cards for everybody tonight?
Yes.
Okay. So then let's just jump in. Under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 13, Section 40, the Fitchburg Conservation Commission will open the hearing for notice of intent Oakhill Country Club Solar, LLC, Oakhill Country Club, Shea Street. And I have a note that there was a request for a continuance by
Correct.
the applicant. Can I have a motion to continue this hearing? Motion and a second.
Motion to continue?
Second.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to call the roll. Commissioner Peltier?
Aye.
Commissioner Christian?
Aye.
Commissioner Donnelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Aye.
Commissioner Tantanarwat?
Aye.
Commissioner Sarfield, aye. The motion passes. The hearing is continued to the December meeting. Do we have a date for the December meeting?
December 4th.
The December meeting will be December 4th at 6 p.m. Okay, so moving on. We've got, under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 13, Section 40, Fitchburg Conservation Commission. We'll open the hearing for notice of intent, AG Dream Flip LLC, single-family dwelling, Fairmount Street, Lot 1. Do we have anyone here tonight?
Hannigan is here.
Oh, Mr. Hannigan.
Good evening. For the record, Bill Hannigan with Hannigan Engineering, representing the applicant. So this lot is a single-family lot that is proposed within a scope of additional development lots for the project. So there's 3 notice of intents that have been filed. So I would request the chair open the next 2, which is the Lot 2, Fairmount Street Lot 2 and Fairmount Street Lot 3. I think would make sense because that way we can talk about the issues with DEP because DEP comments are identical for all 3, virtually. So I think that would make sense to do that so that we can discuss them concurrently, unless there's an objection.
I've done that procedure. Do I need to read through everything for each one? How do I do that?
You just,
Read through this part?
Lot 2.
So,
Right now, we're on lot 1. This again.
okay,
And lot 2.
okay. No problem.
Okay, so technically we can't talk about Lot 2 or Lot 3 while we're talking about Lot 1, so it would end up being a lot of redundancy, so.
Under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 13, Section 40, the Fitchburg Conservation Commission will open the hearing for notice of intent, AG Dream Flip LLC, single-family dwelling, Fairmount Street, Lot 2. And under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 13, Section 40, the Fitchburg Conservation Commission will open the hearing for notice of intent, AG Dream Flip LLC, single-family dwelling, Fairmount Street, Lot 3.
Okay. So the first order of business with this was there was a peer review of the wetlands that was done by Art Allen of Ecotech. And as a result of that, the picture that was just on the screen.
sorry. I was going to bring up the peer review.
As a result of that, the house that was going to be built on Lot 2, there's a wetlands finger that extends up into that area. So what we have done is taken that building off the plans, and we're asking that that the notice of intent for Lot 2 be withdrawn without prejudice. So that'll take that one off the plate. So if the commission could make a motion and second and then vote to allow a withdrawal of that one, then we can just talk about lots 1 and 3, which will condense the conversation even more.
Madam Chair, I would be prepared to make a motion to remove Lot 2 as requested by the applicant. So move to remove without prejudice.
Seconded.
All in favor? Let's see, I'll call Commissioner Peltier,
Aye.
Commissioner Christian,
Aye.
Commissioner Donnelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace,
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Aye.
Commissioner Tantanarawan,
Aye.
Commissioner Sarfield, aye. So the motion passes to withdraw without prejudice for Lot 2.
Correct. So once that was done, what we did was we reconfigured the lots. We kept the lot numbering the same, lots 1 and lot 3. There is no lot 2 any longer. But we kept the numbering same because that way the filings that had taken place thus far through DEP, the lot numbering scheme follows the file number that was issued per lot, that specific lot number. what we did was we merged the majority of the Lot 2 into what is now known as Lot 3, which is the 3 duplexes, and that's shown on the plan right now. The balance of that kind of strings along the back of the railroad property and comes back out to Fairmount Street. So you have the rendering that is on the screen. You also have. Can we just flip to the other sheet of the rendering?
Sure. I can't see the top of my computer because of all the...
So there you can see the red line kind of is the lot line between what is now Lot 1, which has a single-family home on it, and Lot 3, which is behind it, but that land all is connected back to where the 3 duplexes are. So if we then go to the letters that DEP, or the comments that DEP came in with, I'm not sure if everyone's had a chance to review those letters. I can go through them item by item if you wish, or if everybody, unless anyone has specific questions, you could ask about those. But I believe that all of the items are addressed. There's only a few that are different, but one of the principal things of this is in the beginning part of the letter, which talks about the application of the stormwater management standards. So where this is a development of 7 residential units, okay, so there would be 6 units in the multifamily and 1 single-family unit. It ends up being 7 total, and therefore the stormwater management standards are applicable to the maximum extent practicable. Okay, so you don't have to do the full standards, but we have to show that we're adhering to the standards as best we can. Okay, so there are different criteria within the regulations that we follow to do that, and we've accomplished that on this project. So the comment number 1 for both lots was just that. The extent of the development associated with the subdivision, which is shown as 9 units, that we removed that Lot 2, so that drops down below 9 to the number 7. And therefore, since it does not discharge for a critical area, stormwater management is to the maximum extent practicable. Now, the number is before you start having that required is 9 units. So I'm sorry, 10 units technically. So we would still have been below that in the original filing. The comment number 2 on both talks about the location of the BMPs, and the reviewer from DEP looked at the roof drain systems that we had, where we have essentially a roof drain pit, as those being BMPs. Technically, the only BMP on the project is related to the 3 duplexes, where there is an underground storage chamber system that handles the stormwater flow from the project, and that is the only BMP that is on there. The roof drains from the single-family home don't rise to the level of becoming a BMP because they aren't used for the mitigation of peak rate of runoff. And that's what defines how a BMP, a best management practice for stormwater runoff, would be. If your first litmus test on that is it being used as a peak rate mitigating factor. So since the roof drain systems are not in our drainage calculations, we did not account for any storage within those pits for the roof runoff. We presume the roof runoff just went into the design points. So at that point, the only mitigating element that we have on this is relative to the parking lot and the paving on the 3 duplexes, which then is sent into a underground storage system. We've done testing within that system to provide sufficient offset to groundwater, and we do use that system as an infiltration peak rate mitigation factor. So that's how that whole comment plays out with respect to stormwater management. So the same comment on both sheets of number 3 is that they wanted to clarify the treatment train for TSS removal. Once again, as the only BMPs being utilized are on the lot that has the 3 duplexes, the treatment train is routed through that underground storage system, and that has been outlined in the response, as well as an updated TSS removal train form has been provided. Okay. Anything so far? The proposed composition of the building's roofs shall be specified in the plans, and the simple answer to that is that all roofing is proposed to be with asphalt shingles. There are no metal roofs being proposed in this project. The next item is temporary bordering vegetated wetland alterations. They want us to update the form for it, and then from that we acknowledge the condition that typically when we do alteration of wetlands and there's restoration involved, that there's a cycle of review after the fact that it's done relative to the plantings, making sure that the plantings take, and there's usually a 2-year period of review by the botanist, and then from there we come back to the commission and have that signed off on, as that the work that we did relative to disturbances within BVW has been mitigated and it's functioning as it's supposed to be. So that we don't have any issue with the commission having a condition on the permit for that, which is typical anyways, I believe. Okay. So then we get into Ecotex comments, which talk about the wetland peer review. And I think that we've pretty much addressed that with the changes in the plans. We've added the change in the wetland line that has been found from Ecotech, and our consultant went out there and agreed with them on those changes. We've added those to the plans. We've eliminated Lot 2 and the construction on that. We've merged that land into the other ones. So all of those items have been pretty much addressed through the peer review by the changing of Lot 2 or elimination of Lot 2. Some of the other things were adding or rehanging flags that were missing during his initial site review. We've taken care of that. And then I guess there was some unpermitted clearing of woody vegetation was cleared prior to the applicant purchasing the lot. And then as part of the project, intended to provide invasive species management between the new Lot 1 property line and the development on Lot 3. This work will be performed on Lot 3, and it's further addressed in the filing. So if we go back to the plan that shows the lot line between Lot 2 and Lot 3, which I think is the second sheet. So my understanding is, if you look at the red line of the property line to the right of the building that's on Lot 1, my understanding is that in that area just to the right of that is where the tree clearing was done. So those areas, what's happened is there's a lot of knotweed and a lot of invasive species on the whole property. And as part of what we've agreed to, or we've looked at as a BMP, more for vegetation control, is to do some treatment with those invasive species to try to eliminate them. Knotweed is extremely difficult to get rid of, but there are other species in there that we can treat, and we've been very successful. We have a company that we're working with for a couple of years who's been they've gotten rid of some amazing. They've done some amazing work to get rid of some of these invasive species on the project. So that's one area that I believe that's being talked about. And this is going to kind of filter over into what are we doing in that area behind there. So there's an old, and I'm sure that Chris touched base on this at the last meeting, there's an old structure in that area which was apparently part of a well system or a water pump station system, something like that in the back. So part of what we're doing on this one is we're going to remove the fence, remove any evidence of the building, et cetera. The DPW has asked us to take a look at the drainage structure, which is right in the upper left-hand corner. There's a drain pipe that goes underneath the railroad tracks, and there is a riser that comes up, that water builds up in that area and overflows and goes down and then gets into the railroad piping. They've asked us, as part of this project, to take a look at that and confirm that that's still functioning, number one, and if there does need any repairs, that we take care of those repairs prior to the construction beginning on Lot 3. So that would be tied back to the building permit. So they would have us do that. They would go out and review whatever was done. We would provide, if there was any mitigation to that structure, the vertical structure. We're not touching the structure that was underneath the railroad. But the vertical structure, if there was anything that needed to be done for that, we would take care of that, have that work done, and then from there, they could start building on Lot 3. Part of that is we're doing a lot of work in that area, and the restoration of that is what DEP is saying that we need to be able to address as part of this program and part of what we're doing here. So there's this area here, and then if we can go to the other sheet. On the top of this sheet, behind the red line, between the red line and the property line abutting the railroad track, there's an area that's old, broken up pavement in that area. And part of what they're going to be doing here is taking out the pavement in that area, and if it does need loam, we would loam it, and then they would plant that with some sort of a wildflower seed mix. The restoration of those two components, the area where the structure is being removed and the other drainage structure is being reviewed at least, as well as that paved area, those were submitted by Chuck Herring, put together a planting plan and basically how we're going to address those issues during construction to make sure that those areas are restored back to a more natural condition than they are right now. So that's been submitted. That's all part of the information that you have on file, so that I would presume that would just become part of the orders of conditions. So essentially, they would be able to go in and build the single-family house is kind of the approach, and then while they're building that and they have equipment on the site, they would go around and clean up the area behind that, do whatever work they needed to do to bring that to clean up those areas and make sure that pipe or that vertical structure is functioning, get rid of the pavement, and get all that kind of cleaned up, and then they would start on the buildings on the 3 duplexes, okay? Because that's kind of the approach to the project of how that would be done, okay? And I think that's it. I'm not sure, because Chris did this meeting. He wasn't able to make it tonight before. So, Herlin, was there anything else that we needed to touch on?
No, I don't think so.
Let's see, I had a question here. Okay, let's see.
It's a lot of stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Haney. Let's open the floor for public comment. Would anyone like to speak in favor of or against this hearing, or would like to request more information? Let's start with the members of the public that are in person. Sir?
I would like to get more information, if you could, on it. I'm the water counselor in that area.
Okay.
Do you want to go to the mic? Do you want to have him come up to the mic?
You want me to stand up there?
If you wouldn't mind to come up here and address the committee.
Name's Paul Boschman. I'm the Ward 2 counselor in that area. I'd just like to get some more information so I could understand it a lot better than just seeing it for the first time on here.
Okay, Mr.
Right.
Boschman, or Councilor Boschman, how can we accommodate your?
Well, just if you can send me the drawings, that's all.
I can do
And
that.
if I get any questions, I can ask my friend Mike. All right, thank you.
Councilor, everything is, everything is on our public, is listed on our website, but Herlin will certainly get you what you need.
All right.
Yeah, I can call you. I'll call you and have a package ready for you.
Okay.
Well, if I may, this is the second meeting that we've had on this, correct? So were you at the last meeting? Or?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Is there a way that I know that there's potential planning concerns that maybe we're talking about, but
I just wanted to read it and look at it.
okay.
See it, that's all.
Right. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to close the hearing. We'll get the hearing closed tonight. So I'd be happy to meet with you afterwards. But we're trying to move the project along. We're trying to get we have a closing coming up that we're trying to do on this as well. So we have some things.
I didn't come for that reason, just come to be nosy and hear what was going on.
Would it be acceptable to you if I met with you afterwards and went through everything? I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Does that work?
Okay.
You're right.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here in attendance in person that would like to address the chair and the commission? Okay, hearing none. Do we have anyone attending virtually that would like to
No.
comment? Okay, hearing none. Let's turn to the commission. Do we have any commissioners who have any comments or questions for Mr. Hannigan?
I don't need to start first. No, I always have the list, but
Okay,
I have a quick question.
go ahead, Commissioner Canton-Arwa.
The lot 2 that has been removed, is there going to be any identification for that stream to prevent any of the residents in those homes from disturbing it or anything like that? Are there any plans for that?
What do you mean by
So
identification?
you had identifications, whether there's going to be markers or boulders or anything like that that kind of identifies that that is a restricted zone from dumping.
Yeah, because I know we think that everyone's going to have common sense and not dump their trash in there.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think there's any objection that if the commission, we have done that on other projects. I'm not sure if we've done it in Fitchburg, but we have had, small signs made up that you put on posts and just say, no dumping or something to that effect. I did neglect one thing on the against, I think it was Depot Road, but there was a row of boulders that we put along Depot Road because I guess and I think that was more with the engineering department. They had a question on the fence that was there keeps on getting knocked over or whatever, so they had us add some boulders, and we probably could add some of those at certain locations. And I don't recall whether Chris already had those on the plan, but so along the far edge, you can see that there are a row of boulders.
They're there. I can see them on.
Half-yard boulders spaced not more than 5 feet apart. And the idea of that was he didn't want the DPW, I'm not sure it was DPW or engineering, but they basically said that they didn't want someone to be able to drive through, so they wanted to be closer together than 5 feet, okay? So with that, and I'm trying to think of where we could put those, or if he already has them on there.
there are some shown on this,
Yes.
along Depot Street.
Right, that's what I'm talking about there.
It's on the Lot 1 plan.
Yep.
So we could add a row of boulders along the 20-foot no disturbance or the 25-foot no build zone, I guess is what we're working on. I don't think that we're going, so at the limit of clearing, I think the single-family house one might be overkill, quite frankly. But I think that on the multifamily, it might not be a bad idea to put a row of boulders along the limits of clearing.
Yep. Or even the signage. I'm a big fan of signage. I don't know how the other commissioners feel.
Yeah.
But I always like.
Yeah, we've done it before where usually they're round size and says conservation area, no dumping, or, just to make them aware of it, something to that effect.
We have those signs.
Some, yeah.
You have the signs?
We have some.
Yeah, we have signs that we provide to applicants once it's part of the conditions.
Yeah.
Cool.
We have no problem with that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Who wants to go last? Who wants to go last? We know
I always
Mike's going to
have
be
the
last
list.
anyways.
Commissioner
Mr. Hannigan, Bill, if I may, I think to presume that we're going to close this hearing tonight might be pushing it a little bit. We have a lot of questions and a lot to review. So let's see where it takes us, but that might be a little hopeful. Can you explain why the new way that Lot 1 and Lot 3 have been divided Why does Lot 3 now go along the back all the way to Depot Street?
Because that way, all of the mitigation work that has to be done can be associated with one order of conditions being Lot 3. So all the work, the removal of the pavement, the fixing of the structure, the removal of the fence and the old structure, and all the mitigation work is all on Lot 3. So that way,
Okay.
you're encumbering one lot.
All right.
Yep.
While we're on Lot 1, two things that are noted. The deck is in the, part of the deck is in the 25-foot no-build on Lot 1. And the retaining wall that is also associated with Lot 1 extends within the 25-foot no-build. So we need to take a look at that or see how anybody feels about addressing that.
So I guess I got to go back to the definition of no build within Fitchburg, because every town is different. Is it no build, no structures?
Madam Chair?
Meaning I'm looking at more at the retaining wall right now.
You're correct, it's no structure.
No structures. So the retaining wall would be considered a structure. We'd have to pull that back. That could be dealt with. And the deck, we'd have to do the same thing then.
Okay. And I would ask that if fellow commissioners indulge me for a second, this might take me a minute, but I will get to a point where I can see where we're justified. Mr. Hannigan, when Chris was here the last time, we asked him whether or not this was condos or rentals, okay? And his answer was to be determined. Do we know yet how this single-family house is going to be treated, that lot, as a single family, but what about the duplexes?
Well, I think the single-family house would be a single-family ownership.
Right, okay.
But just remember, even if it's a single-family house, that doesn't mean that someone could build it and rent it out.
Right, that's
Okay.
fine, but
Right.
that's going to be on its own separate deed.
Correct.
Ultimately, that was a question
Right.
that Commissioner Donnelly asked, how are we going to divide the deeds up?
Okay.
So what about the duplexes?
The three duplexes, condominium is a form of ownership, okay?
Yep.
And I had a conversation with Mr. Christian about this earlier as well. Could it be rental? Yes. Could it be condominiumized and then rented? Yes. Could it be just one product and just all rental? Yes.
But
Okay?
it's still going to be a condo, you're planning on a condo association and
No.
on a master deed?
Nope. I'm not going to determine the form of ownership. That's going to be up to the owner, okay? However, that being said, I think the question or the request is really about having some sort of a homeowners association that is responsible for dealing with all of the infrastructure that we're building on the multifamily.
Exactly, but that's
Right.
what I'm trying to get to.
But that doesn't necessarily need to be in a form of condominium ownership. Okay? So there has to be a stormwater maintenance plan, which we've included in our submittals.
Right.
Okay? There has to be, in other words, if whoever built, if Mr. Elias, if he builds this, okay, and decides that he is going to just rent these units, he's still responsible for maintenance of all the elements relative to
Right, any of the drainage basins, any of the dry wells.
Correct.
Any of the stormwater.
plowing, landscaping, all that stuff is part of maintenance. So he could be the homeowners association, if you will.
Right, but that rental then, those rental properties would then be all on one deed because he's keeping that as
Correct.
one lot. So the order of condition and any perpetual conditions that we might write will be associated with one deed.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to get to what are we
All
looking
right.
for down the
So,
road, if it's
I know-
condos or.
I know where you're going.
Plan unit
So when you
development.
have a deed, when you have an order of conditions on a piece of land, on a property, it runs with the land, as you know, okay?
Correct.
So if it becomes condominium ownership, there's a condominium of the land itself.
Right.
And then the individual units within the condominium are subject to those conditions. So if the order of conditions was issued to Lot 3, okay, for this, and it went into a condominium, the condominium ownership would be responsible for the homeowners association maintenance and requirements of the project per the order of
Right, because
conditions.
then there would be a master deed created for the condo
Correct.
homeowners association. What, are you
And then if you
not-
sold, then at that point you sell the individual units.
Right.
Those individual unit owners are now part of the condominium itself.
Right.
And they, as individual unit owners, have to abide by those regulations. Okay? I would recommend a condition on this. I would recommend that a homeowners association be formed for Lot 3. Okay? And that if it goes into condominium ownership, that master deed and all that information comes back to the commission for their review before it happens.
Right.
Okay? Because, and we've done this with other projects, because right now I can't tell you whether it's going to be 6 rental units that one person is going to own, but if the structure is set up, the legal structure is set up with a homeowner association that runs with the deed of the property. If first of all, that would become part of the order of conditions that a homeowners association. I'm trying to think of how this would work.
And that's what I'm trying to get.
No, I know where you're trying to get.
Because you can see conditions that are going to be needed for the long term. So how are we, if it's one person and one deed and it's rental units, it's fine. But if we go, now you're
I
not.
think it's actually better if it's condominium.
Well, true, but you're not considering a planned unit development here. It's either
This
a
is
single
multifamily.
ownership or.
This is
it's gonna be
multifamily.
multi-
It's
okay.
not a planned unit development.
Okay,
Right.
perfect.
Okay? So the form of ownership can be the form of ownership is one parcel of land, regardless of whether it's
Single
person
or a condo.
entity or a condominium.
Okay.
So the condominium would own the land. The individual units within the condominium structure could be
be
sold
owners. Correct.
as individual units, but they would all be subject to the master deed and all that stuff that goes along with it.
Okay.
Okay.
So at some point, one of the things that one of the reasons why probably not going to close this hearing out tonight is if we go with that and we want to meet with our legal city solicitor to make sure that we're writing the conditions that we want, that we all agree upon afterwards, that says this needs to be taken care of, whether it be
I'm not sure if the
detention
commission. I'm
basin.
not sure if the commission has the jurisdiction to be able to determine the form of ownership of a piece of
No,
property.
not form of ownership, but we want it to be able to translate to either the single family, the single lot, or the homeowners association. And we need some legal advice on how to make sure that we do
I think
that.
the simplest thing
properly.
is that there has to be a homeowners association on the property,
Okay.
period. Just that as a condition, because that way, that gets put into place as part of his construction. So when he goes to pull his building permit, that has to be in place for him to do that, and that's part of your condition of approval.
Okay, so that's what
All
we
right?
just need to
So
verify.
then from that, if that homeowners association is in place,
Yeah.
and he converts it to a condominium, that homeowners association becomes the condominium master document. Okay? It translates that quickly and that easily.
Okay. All right. But I still would like to run that, Herlin, past
Yep.
Solicitor Mead to make sure that we've worded that properly
Yep.
so that if it does go to the condo, much better on a condo association because that one unit still owns the deeds rather than a planned unit development that they own the deed, the house and the land underneath it. And thank you very much, everybody, for
Well,
lighting
plan
that
unit
up.
development
Well, but if you're not
yeah,
doing that,
yeah,
it's
the plan
fine. We
unit-
don't
well,
need to
no,
worry
but the
about
plan
it.
unit development isn't owned any differently.
Still homeowners association.
Well, it's still owned under condominium ownership. A plan unit development is just a form of permitting allowed within the city that has different requirements, okay? You have to have, so a plan unit development has to have, you can have residential, but it also has to have some other component that is community-based. Now, that could be commercial, retail, or just the fact that you're building something nice with a park, okay?
Right.
So, and that's up to the planning board to decide.
Right.
Okay? This is multifamily, and the only reason we're calling this multifamily is not that we're objectional to a planning development, but this parcel fits within the definition of multifamily more than planning development.
Okay.
Okay, so those are two different permitting processes with the planning board. The form of ownership has nothing to do with what process we go through relative to the permitting, but through the planning board. But that being said, I would definitely recommend that a condition be put on the multifamily for a homeowners association of some sort, or to be able to take care of the maintenance and upkeep of the property and the drainage system and the wetlands, and that we put signs out along the edge, et cetera, stuff like that. Okay?
Okay, so that addresses that, and I'll work with Herlin and the city solicitor if we get that far as to the correct verbiage that we will need to make sure if it does go into a condo association that that transfers properly.
Well, I think maybe there's a maintenance program that's put into place that's in our submittal. We have an operation and maintenance plan.
Yep.
That operation and maintenance plan has to be implemented, whether it's a single family house, because there's one on that. Actually, probably not, actually, don't think about it. But on this one, the operation and maintenance plan that's submitted as part of the drainage analysis and the stormwater compliance documentation for the project, that has to be a condition of approval that operation and maintenance plan is followed, okay?
Correct.
And so that's really the key component that the commission is looking at relative to the site and the drainage and the stormwater system relative to that. From there, if it goes condominium, that operation and maintenance plan has to be incorporated within the condominium fee documentation.
Yeah, okay, and that would be a perpetual condition
Correct.
anyway,
Yep.
in the order of condition that we would write, so that
Right.
would have to go forward.
Right.
Okay,
All right? Does that make sense?
yeah, it does. So a couple of things, let's go back to where Commissioner Tantanero asked about where Lot 2 was and that drainage pipe that comes out there. Is that going to be, it shows it's going to be rip-wrapped and all of that, but that is going to be, again, we'll ask that that be maintained in perpetuity so that that drain functions. I know Councilor
This the
Bojan
one
can
just
tell
to the
us-
right, just to the right of Lot 2?
Just to the right of Lot 2.
Lot 1, I'm
No,
sorry.
this is on Lot 2. Was on
Lot 2, yeah.
that drain
So-
that comes out on Lot 2.
Right, so that drainage piece is actually the city's drainage systems. Okay, so they already have an outlet over there.
Right, there's a storm drain across Fairmount Street
Right.
that feeds into this wetland.
Are we talking about this one?
Yeah, the one at where the last,
Right
yeah,
there.
right there. Yep,
Right.
Lot 2, where Lot
So-
2 was.
Right, so right now, the drainage system, I believe, is, I forget exactly why Nick wanted that changed over, but that's the city drainage system which drains onto the property.
Correct.
So that would be maintained by the city. We're making the improvements to it because of the fact that there's a problem with that drain, and they've asked us to do so, but that would be maintained by the city once it's done. Okay, so we may need to grant the city an easement for that particular area on the, on
that, what was Lot 2.
What would become, it would be on Lot 3.
It is not, yeah, it's part like.
There's also, on the next sheet, Herlin, there's also a drain that comes off the property, comes off the intersection of Depot and Fairmount, which drains through the property, which basically is the feed of that.
And then that's the one that goes under the railroad tracks?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the
And that's
structure.
the one that you're going to look at and
The structure.
determine that it is functioning properly right now?
Just the vertical component of it, okay? No one knows when the vertical component was put in. The line going under the railroad track is the railroad, that's the railroad's pipe.
Okay.
So we can look at the vertical, and as long as it's functioning properly, if it's cracked or broken, or there's going to be some review of it, and we don't even know what measures may need to be taken, if any, okay? But we've agreed to go look at it with DPW and engineering and take a look and say, what they want to make sure is that it's not collapsing, okay? So if it's collapsing, they want it to be replaced. If it's-
And is that going to be a continuous, again, part of what would be perpetual conditions to maintain that once it's determined that it's functioning? Because that's still a responsibility of that property to have that part of the drain working?
I think that's probably more the city's drain than our drain.
I'll
Because
have to read
yeah,
that with-
we got to kind of take a look at that, because right now there's no easement going across the property, but there's kind of a perpetual, not the word, what the prescriptive, if you will, easement that probably exists going through the property from the street drainage system down to that culvert that goes underneath the railroad tracks. Okay?
Yep.
So that's a legal thing as well that we probably should take a look at.
Okay.
And pinpoint who's going to maintain what. I think that's what you're
If
asking.
it is the city drain, then it's not going to be in your condition, but going forward, but.
Right.
You know,
Right.
if it is, then we want to make sure that that's included, that if you fix it and it's operating, we want to keep it operating.
Right. I perceive it as not being our drain, but we're willing to take a look at it and fix it. Then we have to take a look. And then Nick might say that it's the railroad's drain. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, it could be. All right. So, Herlin, we'll make a note of that so that we'll work to determine who is responsible for that going forward. The temporary alterations of the wetland, that is all, in order to remove that well house, that's all part of the restoration
Yep.
planting plan. And I just wanted to make a note. I know we thought, or it seems, that might have been a previous owner, but based on Mr. Karen's environmental report, that it seemed like that cutting was just done in 2023, which would have been the current owner because that deed was transferred in 2022.
I can't speak to who cut down what, where, when, and how. I don't know.
All right.
But regardless, I think the intent is to rectify it.
Okay. And let me try to finish. Oh, Lot 3, the emergency, Herlin, if you want us, so we can see that. The emergency spillway is at the far
right end.
right corner that goes. How are we protecting the owner's property next to that?
If I'm not mistaken, and I'd have to ask Chris about the drainage on this, but I believe that the design point for the drainage is back down towards the center of the property. I don't think that there's any outflow over that during any.
It's not, that's going to go towards, because
that's
abutting
usually
property
set.
kind of curves into
Right. So
this property.
Right. So the spillways are typically set up so that they never see water unless something goes wrong with the system itself. So if there's a clog in the system for some reason, then from there, or something on the outlet structure blocked, that's what that's for. So it gives it a path so that it doesn't erode the, so what you don't want is you don't want it to go over at the berm at any chosen location. You want to specify where it's going to go and have that area be reinforced. Okay?
Okay.
So if one of the outlets gets clogged or blocked by something, then the water has a place to go until it gets fixed. Okay? But once again, that goes back to the operation and maintenance plan. So if the operation and maintenance plan has an annual requirement to do that maintenance work, then there shouldn't be any blockages within that system.
Okay.
As long as it's properly maintained. That's the key thing.
Okay, I have two more questions.
I think you're hitting them all.
I know. I always have the list. Couple of things. Now, I know that this lot is very limited in the ability that they have to work with. And I will tell you right off the bat, I am not an engineer, but I can do some of the calculations. And I asked Chris when he was here the last time. The gradient, the slope, once that's filled in, okay, we go from 538 feet to 552 feet on one, on that side between house 1 and 2 on lots 3. And again, I am not the engineer, so it might be whatever, but if you're climbing 8 or 10 feet in a 20-foot run, I mean, we could be talking about 35, 40%, okay, slope. And best management practices recommend that as the slope over 15% grows, technically the buffer should grow. Now, you don't have you don't have any room to go, but I mean, if this is a 40% slope, the multiplying factor is 1.4, which means we should have a 140-foot buffer where we have none. So I'm concerned about there is going to be no filtration. There's going to be straight runoff into the wetlands. Do you have any comments on addressing that?
Well, I think you have to take a look at, part of that is it's probably a 3-to-1 slope behind the driveway area and then a 2-to-1 slope to the northwest of that, if you will. I'm just looking to plan northwest behind duplex number 1. So that slope is a manageable slope relative to typical conservation and grading practices. You know, we do 1-to-1 slopes, which would be a 45-degree angle, which is 100%. Okay, so if you go along a lot of the highways, you can see there's a 3-to-1 slope in many areas, but you'll also see a slope that's sometimes 1-to-1. Okay, and if you have the right vegetation on it, it holds. The biggest thing is making sure that when the construction is done, that the loaming and seeding is done properly, that the slopes have some time to grow, and you know, flatter areas you might be able to get away with you know, mowing the lawn 3 times and it's probably fine. You get into steeper areas, you need more time to let that root base develop to be able to make sure you don't have any ruts being created during storm events. So a lot of that is really construction and construction management on the post-development side, to make sure that the grass grows properly. Other things that you can do on those slopes is you could do other plantings that would spread out and provide better protection relative to coverage on the slope as well. So that's something that we can talk to Chuck Karen about what he would recommend. I'm not worried about a 1-to-1 slope or a 2-to-1 slope, or you know, relative to being able to make sure it gets built properly.
So what are we planning for? Is it just lumen seed
Right now, it's lumen seed, correct.
So I would think we would look at something other than, or in addition to the lumen seed, based on the fact that it's a pretty good slope and it goes directly into the resource area.
So let's take a look at that whole sloped area on that side between buildings 1 and 2, I think is where you're focused on, correct?
Yep, that is the steepest one.
Right.
There is, I mean, we may need to look at, there's a pretty good slope on lot 1 too. So what we do on lot 1, on lot 3, we may also consider, if Mr. Karen looks at it and can give us a recommendation, is that necessary on lot 1 also?
There are certain, you know.
Lot 3, the first house on lot 3 is the worst.
Right. So those slopes over there don't seem like they're
not as bad as
they're not going to be as big of a deal. What we might do, quite frankly, is I'll take a look at maybe just eliminating the retaining wall, and maybe I put in a steeper slope, and then maybe I treat the steeper slope differently instead of putting the retaining wall, because that would get the quote structure out of that zone, save them some money on that construction of that, and we could take a look at that as well.
All right, so if we want to maybe look at revising some of that so that is covered to address that. And I have one more comment and question then is, as we talked about, and you reviewed the comments from DEP, the comments from DEP note that the project includes temporary bordering vegetative wetland work and alterations. Usually that triggers an alternative analysis and possibly, you know, another plan.
If we were doing a crossing, or if we were filling in wetlands for the purposes of permanent alteration, I could see justifying a alternate plan. The areas that we're disturbing temporarily are the areas that we talked about earlier, where the fence and the old structure is, where the drainage structure we're going to be looking at, and removing pavement. Okay, so I think this is a little bit different than a typical wetland alteration, where we're basically filling an area and then we're creating a replication somewhere. We'd have to justify why we're filling that area. We're not really filling anything. What we're doing is we're trying to remove components that have been asked of us to be removed. In order to get there, we have to go through wetlands. There's going to be temporary disturbance, and then we're going to restore within those areas as such.
All right, but, okay, so I understand that, but, you know, this is a very difficult project. It's a very difficult lot. I mean, you know that, we know that. Would your applicant be open to looking at say, 2 single-family houses in there, and to give us an option of doing, instead of two single-family houses versus a single and the multi-development, which would then condense in the area of the wetland and have less impact on the wetland because we're not doing 3 developments.
I don't think so. I think that there's a lot of construction costs that goes along with this project, and in order for him to justify doing it, he needs the number of units that we're proposing. It's more of a zoning question relative to the number of units that are being proposed. The number of units being proposed is allowed within the zoning. So our mitigation that we have to provide here is relative to stormwater and site grading to the maximum practical extent, and that's what we feel we're doing. We're going to take a look at some of the slope questions, but reducing the number of units on the property I don't think is on the table.
Can it be?
I don't think it is. I think that gets beyond the jurisdiction of the commission to dictate the number of zoning units.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Hannigan. I'm good.
Commissioner Jacobs, do we have any other commissioners with any questions for Mr. Hannigan?
Those grade lines, are they existing?
No, the proposed.
So it's 20 feet between, on lot 3, it's 18 to 20 foot slope, and on lot 1, it's about 12 to 14 feet. So you're bringing in a considerable, you're bringing in that fill?
Yes, we would be bringing the fill.
You're creating those slopes?
Correct.
Okay. To her point, if you made a condensed in one house, there'd be less of a slope, or at least to be further away from the wetland. That's not neither here nor there. You said something about groundwater, the roof drainage going to groundwater. The truth be known, everybody knows the lots. It's not the groundwater that's the culprit. It's the surface water runoff. And I'm only thinking I'm not thinking of the applicant or you or us, but the homeowners or the occupants.
I'm failing to understand your question. Because
I haven't run it. It's just an observation. The surface water is the threat there more so than the groundwater.
No, what I was referring to when I talked about the groundwater is we did testing to find out where groundwater was in the area of the chamber system to make sure that the system was high enough above groundwater so you'd be able to get that infiltration zone to be functional.
Right. And you said you had a subsurface drainage.
Correct.
You spoke to the groundwater. That understood. And now we'll go to surface water. That's why I wanted to know. That's why I wanted to know. You're 14 to 20 feet above. You're bringing it up, and the surface water from the whole hillside. And a rain event, a single rain event. That's what's. Look, if you look at the trees, the existing trees that are in there now, you can see all of the root flare. That to me indicates shallow, high groundwater. So if you're not going to fill there, you're bringing in 14 feet. I get that. You'll have them perched up there where they're going to be dry. But I don't know what the flood stage is there. I know it's significant, but I don't know what.
Are you talking about like floodplain type of thing?
I'm talking about the runoff that comes off that hill.
Yep.
And it has nowhere to go but there. And we're going to displace a good deal of there. We're going to displace a good deal of there with the fill that you're bringing in. I don't know where that water, I don't know to what extent.
Well, the stormwater analysis we're doing incorporates the 100-year storm event for the whole property, okay, including whatever comes onto the property from above. So the idea is that when you do a stormwater analysis, the peak rate of runoff through the property, okay, to your design points, can't go up. That specifically is related to erosion control because you don't want the rate of the water running through the property to be faster, because if it goes through the property faster, then it can create erosion. Okay. Part of that is the additional volumetric aspect of it that you'll end up by transitioning the property from woodlands to grass and pavement and rooftop. That's where the underground storage area comes into play, where it takes that excess volume and routes it through that underground drainage system infiltrating it back into the ground and allowing some of it to go off, which then goes back to the peak rate factor that provides compliance.
Gotcha. My only question was, is where's the runoff going to go? And I don't know how you can measure it, given that site. Because we've seen the water come down, we've seen it flood, and you're gonna put more fill in the bathtub, and the bathtub would overflow. This is a big one, but I don't know that the houses will be endangered, but the water's got to go somewhere. And I don't know. I'm not sure how you go about doing your peak flow on that hillside.
Peak rate runoff?
It's all surface water.
Correct.
And it's one event could kill it.
Well, so I don't determine what the peak rate is. The peak rate calculations are done based upon TR 55 and TR 20, which is instituted by the government. So all design engineers and all peer reviewers of these types of projects use the same programs that are given to us by the government to utilize in determining the factors that we're talking about right now: peak rate mitigation, infiltration factors relative to stormwater runoff, design or land use characteristics, both pre and post development. Okay, all those fall into the drainage program that are developed that we utilize, and we put those drainage reports together that are this thick to be able to justify how we came up with the numbers. We don't just pull these numbers out of the air, okay? Yeah. And I know you know that, yeah. Okay? But the methodology of how we're doing it is set by the federal government and the state government. We're providing those documents to you for your review, which I presume the engineering department has reviewed. They're doing the same thing on the planning board level for that same thing. So by the time we get to the commission, those elements of drainage and surface water are being addressed, okay? Whether we have, there's a lot of things that you look at and you say, I don't understand how it's going to work. A lot of things I look at and say, I don't know how it's going to work, okay? But the reality of it is we're given these methodologies that started way before my time, okay? And those have always been, and they evolve over time. We're in the transition now between the SCS stormwater flows and the NRCC stormwater flows, okay, relative to what we're going to use for values of rainfall over a 24-hour period. Those are evolving. So that the programs are set up, and then they utilize those programs both for analysis of subdivisions, single-family home developments, commercial developments, industrial developments, roadway construction, everything. So what we're doing on this project is no different than we've done on any other project in Massachusetts.
Good. Thank you. And so to be clear, given your grades and your fill, post-development rate, it doesn't exceed pre-development rate?
Correct.
And you've already done those numbers?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Do we have any other comments? Any other questions? So it sounds like we're not ready. We're going to need to revisit this. I wonder, my question is how quickly we can get these questions answered, Mr. Hannigan. Do we need to schedule a special meeting so we can wrap this up for you, or do you think this is going to go to our December meeting?
Well,
the timeline for getting this information put together.
So let's touch base on the things that we've talked about. I think the things that we've talked about that we're being asked to address are the slopes between buildings 1 and 2 on the 3-family, and whether we can provide some sort of a planting program for that slope to ensure that it stays long term. Okay, there is there's the legal review of the maintenance program.
Correct.
For the project, so that the commission can put a condition within the order of conditions that addresses that, the operation and maintenance plan that we put into the submittal, that becomes a document that goes on with the land ownership, whether it becomes a single person owning it or whether it becomes a condominium ownership, or there's some legal stuff on that.
Modifications on Lot 1, the retaining
Yeah,
wall.
lot 1,
deck.
the deck and the retaining wall. That's where it was.
And then you say the signage too?
Yeah.
Signage, possible other delineations, the rock.
Could we get the boulders signage on the plans, please?
Yeah, do you have a sample of your sign? Because on other towns, we've actually taken that sign and put it right in our plans. If you just scan it and email it over to us.
We literally they're tangible signs that we give you.
Right, but that way I can put the sign
Oh, yes.
on my drawings so that
Yes.
the contractor doesn't say I didn't know about the signs.
Yes?
Yeah, and then show placement on the, where
Yep.
they would go. Okay? And
Schedule.
Harlan, you'll have to schedule some time when we
Yep.
could meet with, oh yeah, solicit a
That's what
meeting.
I just asked.
And also the drainage, the DPW, whether the drainage belongs.
Oh, who owns the drainage? Yep.
Owns the drainage, please. And I will reach out to Nick if you want.
Please.
Yeah, so the stuff that comes off, in my opinion, the stuff that comes off Fairmount, off the street onto our property, and this is where the legal people will get involved, is whether that's a prescriptive easement. So I think that part is maintained by the city. I think that the riser that's on the railroad pipe, who maintains that is another question.
Yeah,
That's a more complicated one, I think.
yeah.
And the same with that outflow pipe that was on previous Lot 2, if there's going to, you will have to also work with Nick, so he will have access to that and how we write that in also. The outflow pipe from Fairmount Street where the riprap.
In the middle of the property, yeah.
Yeah.
In Lot
Yeah,
2.
right.
We've got to determine responsibility for
Right.
ongoing. If it's a city responsibility that they need to give access to by way of
Easement, yep.
easement, or if that becomes a property, again,
I'm almost certain that city belongs to the city, but we can work that out afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to have a problem giving the city an easement,
Easement, yeah.
whatever drainage that they need to get to.
because that actually,
And if they had taken over the vertical standpipe, we would maybe just give them an easement over the whole back of the property for drainage. It might be the
Councilor
easiest thing.
Bolshman, do you know why that outflow pipe goes into the lot and not into the stormwater system?
It comes from the stormwater system in the road
Yeah.
and dumps onto our property, okay, which is not uncommon, okay? It's very, very common.
Wow.
Okay, so Mr. Hannigan, just to get us all moving forward, are you,
I'm not asking for a special meeting.
okay, we're happy to do that if need be.
No, I think with Thanksgiving and stuff like that, between now and then, there's some legal
Okay.
questions. I think there's going to take time to get the lawyers together to go that. We can take a look at, but we can work on this over the next couple of weeks and try to get you something. What's the date of the next meeting?
December 4th, meeting materials are due November 20th.
You would need the materials by December 20th?
November.
20th?
November 20th.
I think we can get our stuff taken care of by then.
Harlan, Solicitor Mead is pretty accessible, right, to you?
Yes?
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
so
so
let's,
if you need us involved in that conversation, Harlan, by all means, give us a call.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
all right, so materials need to be submitted by November 20th.
Okay.
The meeting is December 4th.
Okay. Therefore, I would ask for a continuance for both lots 1 and 3 to the meeting of December 4th.
Motion to continue to December?
Seconded.
Okay. All in favor, Commissioner Peltier,
Aye.
Commissioner Christian,
Aye.
Commissioner Donald,
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace,
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Aye.
Commissioner Tantanara Watt,
Aye.
Commissioner Sarfield, aye. Mr. Hannigan, thank you so much. It was
Thank you.
nice to see you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so moving forward, we've got under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 13. Okay, nope, that was wrong, sorry. What did I do here? Sorry. Under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 13, Section 40, the Fitchburg Conservation Commission will open the hearing for modification of Order of Condition 155-523 Woodland Estates on Rindge Road. The chair recognizes Commissioner Christian and Commissioner Pelletier recusing themselves. And speaking to the modification, we have
Frank McPartland from Dillis and Roy here on behalf of the applicant, Joanne Hamburg.
welcome.
Thank you.
Right, what was your last name?
McPartland.
McPartland. Oh,
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'll start with that one.
Yeah, this is the original, right?
That was the original plan. On behalf of the applicant and in accordance with special conditions 8 and 10 of the special conditions for DEP file number 155-0523, Dillis and Roy has submitted the attached the exhibit plans that document the revised location of the proposed recreation building for Woodland Estates. So, Herlin, if you could zoom in a little bit on that top right corner. This was the original plan prepared by Whitman and Bigham that the notice of intent was based upon. What we have there in red is the original location of the proposed recreation building.
There's a delay when I click
Not a
on
problem.
things. Sorry.
That works pretty well. And what I have, what I've highlighted in this area is in blue is the wetland that was established as part of the project, as well as the original tree line there in green. The orange line through more or less the middle of the building is the 100-foot buffer. So in this instance of the plan, what was proposed was a 30 by 60, 1,800 square foot recreation building. And the engineer at that time had it pinned right up on the curb line. So as you see, there's a cul-de-sac there with several parking spaces, including an accessible parking space. And that ended up being pinned right up on the curb line. During the course of starting to construct this building, what we found was that there was a good amount of ledge almost right where the 100-foot buffer was crossing the building. So it wasn't feasible to construct the recreation building as shown for a number of reasons, including, for one, my client is currently forbidden from doing any additional blasting on the property by the zoning board, so we couldn't remove that ledge to be able to construct the building around it. In addition, because we would have to construct at the building at an elevation above the ledge with the foundation around it, it needs to be set further back from the curb line to provide an accessible entrance to the building. And what we've done is slid the building 14 feet back from the curb line. If you want to jump to the new plan. And what I've shown on this exhibit plan, as well as what was submitted to the commission, was the original building location in red, and then the proposed building is in black and white behind it. So what you see here is the original building in red with the wetland buffer running through the middle of it. And then, if we could zoom in just a little bit on the...
Trying.
I know, it's tough. That'll be good. What I'm showing here is like I said, the original building in red, and then a 14-foot dimension from the back of the original building to where the proposed building is now. We picked the building up and away from the curb line. We have to construct an accessible ramp up to it to reach it, but we're able to set the building at an elevation where we'll be able to avoid the ledge. What they found with test pits in the area is as you work your way back away from the curb line, the ledge does get deeper. So it won't be impacting the construction of the building when we push it up and back. And what we're asking for here is to allow this modification of the plan. One thing I do want to note is that the proposed recreation building is going to be smaller than the original permitted building. It was going to be 1,800 square feet at 30 by 60, and now we're at 27 by 54, which would be 1,458 square feet. And that more or less covers the change. It's 14 feet further back, and I believe it is now approximately 54 feet off the wetland, where originally it was 68 feet. So that covers the additional encroachment. That area now behind the building and adjacent to the wetland is a portion of what was granted to Fitchburg. Was Parks? Yeah. Was granted to Fitchburg Parks Department. So everything kind of behind the building is protected through that granting. And after hearing your discussion earlier today about the conservation signage, I was going to recommend that we put up that same kind of conservation signage that the commission has available along the limit of disturbance behind the building and even along behind the other existing buildings, so that people know that there is wetland behind them.
Thank you, Mr. McPartland. Let's open the floor for public comment. Would anyone like to speak in favor of or against this hearing, or would like to request more information? I'm going to start with people in the in-person audience. Seeing none, I'm going to move to the members who are attending tonight virtually. Is there anybody?
We do have one person.
Okay, who do we have? Kathleen? Is that Kathleen?
Yep.
Deschamps?
Hi, this is Kathy Deschamps.
Okay, the chair recognizes Kathleen Deschamps. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Deschamps. I live at 1307 Rindge Road. And I guess I have a question. And I know this meeting was ahead of the zoning board, but I understand that the residents have done a vote, and they are not in favor of the recreation center as it is proposed now. And they're looking for, I think they were more interested in the original plans. So I don't know if that should be noted. I believe it's going to the zoning board next week. Just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you, Mr. Shenz, for attending tonight. I don't know that your comment is jurisdictional for the Conservation Commission, but we do appreciate that you came and that you joined us this evening.
No, I thank you, and I thank the board for doing the work that they do. So, thank you.
You're very welcome. Do we have anyone else?
Somebody in the audience.
I see. Do we have anyone else virtually that would like to speak? The chair recognizes somebody in the audience. Is it you had your hand up? Please come up to the microphone.
Hi, Joanne Hamburg. I own Woodland Estates, and just to mention to Kathy that my understanding is the residents don't want the building at all. So they have their meeting next week, and that's another issue for another day.
But I do want to note that the zoning board approvals that Joanne has require the construction of the building. So until there's settlement with that one way or the other,
We're still moving forward.
we need to proceed with trying to have a permittable, constructible building for the recreation center until that condition is either affirmed or lifted by the zoning board of appeals.
Yeah, so we're still moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm a little confused what we're doing here.
It's the modification.
Are we we vote to accept the modification? Is that what, like,
If the
or
commission
to not
wants-
accept it?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like what we're doing here is we need to either, just to be clear, accept this modification or deny the modification, just to be clear with everybody.
And can I interject?
Yes, please.
And I just want to make sure that the applicant is aware that if any changes are made to the plans during their zoning board of appeals meeting, they must come back and modify the order of conditions again to reflect the removal of the recreation center.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Mr. McPartland, I have one quick question. What is the size of the new building? Did I miss that?
So the new building, the original was 30 by 60, and the new building is 27 by 54. And that's been worked out and vetted with several architects and has gone through approval with the state building department.
Okay, so hearing no more from the public, we're going to move to the commission and ask if there's any commissioners that have questions for related to this. Commissioner Donnelly?
Two. First off, if zoning were to modify the plan and nix the development,
Nix the building.
if they nix it, why would they have to come back to us for a change of plan when there's no wetlands significance?
It's in the buffer zone.
It's in the buffer zone.
If they don't do it, why do they have to come back to us?
It's in the original plan that they were going to build it.
And if there is no disturbance, why would they have to, what are they looking for when they come back?
When their certificate of compliance is requested, their as-built will not match the plan that is on file.
Less than, not greater than.
Correct. And
Less disturbance, not greater disturbance. Okay, that was my one question.
Professionally, I err on the side of I would come before the commission to inform you of the change before I submit as-built. I'd rather not have the question of why is this so different.
No problem. And then the other one is that, we were offended as a conscom of people that don't come back to us to modify their plan. Mm-hmm. And with good reason. He's come to us with a modification of a plan looking for approval. So that's a step in the right direction.
Yes.
Can I interject?
Thank you.
For clarification, the Wetlands Protection Act requires us to modify any plans, whether they are going to build a structure or not. If it's a modification to the original plan that was submitted to DEP, we must hear it.
So this is procedural.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you for following procedure, I guess. Any further questions?
I just have a quick clarification. So it sounds like the parking spaces are there and there's no clearing. It's just setting everything back to lift it up a little bit.
Correct, yes.
So, okay. I just want to.
Yes, the area was going to be cleared anyway as under the original permit. We kind of just picked the building up and pushed it backwards to be able to construct an accessible ramp.
No additional clearing.
No additional clearing.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a?
Madam Chair, I'm prepared to propose a modification language, that we would approve the modification based on, this is plan dated 3/27/24, revised 9/26/24 is the latest revision. Plan page number C1.0, building size 27 by 54, to approve the modification from the original plan and now also include wetland signage, which is an addition.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. Commissioner Donnelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Tantanarwat?
Yes.
Commissioner Satterfield, yes. The motion passes. Thank you, Mr. McPartlin.
Thank you very much. And if anything changes, I'll be back.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you again.
Thank you.
How the hell are you? Nice to see you.
Mr. McPartlin? Mr. McPartlin, if you could.
I couldn't recuse myself. It's a student.
Oh, really?
One of my students.
Oh, good for you.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
that's totally fine.
Mad River Solar, I
Get our
can't
money.
be here.
Yep.
Come on, pay up. So moving forward to other business, we've got an update 155. Well, the chair recognizes that Commissioners Christian and Peltier are back on,
And I'm stepping aside.
and Commissioner Jacobs is recusing herself. So 155-7480 Ashburnham Street Solar Array. Hi.
Hi there. My name is Lauren Raheja. I'm a senior project manager with Conversion and Energy and Power, who are the owners of the solar project at 0 Ashburnham. I am joined online by our EPC contractors, Dan Rutledge and Alana Scher. We're coming today, and we did send in our plans. We are requesting several changes to the Mad River plans. Essentially, we just want to relocate our SCADA communications cabinet and our battery storage fire panel due to some power internet design constraints. Essentially, bring it closer, a little bit closer to the POI. Or point of interconnection, just in order to have better reliability. In addition to that, we are looking to add a second turnaround adjacent to that SCADA communications panel for access. This is increasing impervious coverage by approximately 697 square feet. We also would like to add in one additional camera light pole. There's currently 2. We'd like to add one more. This is to increase monitoring visibility of the energy storage unit. So taking all this into account, we did rerun the calculations. This project is in construction right now. We've put in our detention basins, and we've reran the stormwater calculations, and the peak runoff has actually decreased from what was approved. So these changes will not result in any additional runoff or peak runoff from what was approved. So that's the main reason I'm here today. And I do have something else about the residential buffer plan, but I think probably it doesn't make sense to kind of tackle that one after. I guess, Herlin, does that or should I talk about the residential buffer plan right now too?
Sure, it's just an update. The commission will then decide how they want you to proceed, so yes.
Okay, great. In addition to that, we do have a residential buffer plan that was provided, I believe it was technically by the planning board, but it is, it does call for plantings and a restoration specialist to plant, certain trees in certain time windows. For example, the one we would be after would be April 15th to June 30th. But it does call for a restoration specialist, and we were just looking for some guidance on means and methods of how to have this residential, have these plantings go in appropriately, because some are in the conservation easement off of Stickney Road, and you'd essentially need to go through the wetlands to get there. So we want to make sure we have a process in place for that. That's everything.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Rahasia, did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Names matter.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions from the commission for Ms. Rahasia at this point? Ms. Jamie is recommending that we look for a modification to be submitted of the order of conditions.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, please, go ahead.
So my recommendation to the commission would be to have the applicant file a modification of the current order of conditions with their changes to their plans. And if the commission is open to discussing what can be done, so the plantings that are being proposed, that were proposed during the original plan and approved by the planning board, are in the conservation restriction. They have to cross wetlands in order to reach the area. I'm not sure if that's the route we want to go, or if you want to recommend something for the applicant to put down so they can cross the wetlands, timber mats. But that is my recommendation, so that all of this can be addressed when they make the modification.
Is that something typically a consultant provides information for? Like, what is the best method to cross?
I mean, sure, we can ask. But my advice would be have them file the modification, and then when they come and apply for their modification, you can discuss a new plan for the plantings, or keep the plan and then suggest how they cross the wetlands. I'm not sure how, we've had this discussion, I'm not sure how jurisdictional it is for planning to impose plantings in wetlands. So that's another issue that we're going to have to tackle. Like we did before with another project where planning imposed some conditions that weren't jurisdictional to them. I think this is the same path, where the applicant can have the modification done by us, and then they go in front of planning and modify those plans to remove, if approved by us, those requests.
Yeah. So I think that's the discussion for
It's
between us and planning, or after, or later. That's a
during
later
their
discussion.
modification.
During the modification.
Correct.
So we should motion to, so I'll put a motion out to have a modification of the plan presented to us, and for the, what's that called?
The replanting.
The, what's that?
Replanting.
The replanting will be discussed at the next meeting.
Okay, and just to clarify, the modification would entail all of the other, so it would entail the plantings in addition to the other components discussed today? Okay.
So, am I right? We're looking for best management practices if they're going to cross the wetlands, or an alternative,
Correct.
right? Right? Makes sense.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
You have a hand.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry,
Go ahead. Sorry about that. The chair recognizes Alana Share.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Just a quick follow-up question there. So while we're working to present a modification to the order of conditions, are we able to proceed with any construction related to the turnaround and SCADA pad, or do we have to wait until the order of conditions is approved?
With regards to the different location of that pad, no, you cannot continue that, but anything else can go on. So just the pad that you guys are moving.
Right.
And obviously the replanting is not going to happen, but yeah, those two specific items you cannot move forward with that work until we get the modification, but everything else can continue.
Okay, thanks for the clarification.
And for clarification, this is just a formality so that DEP has updated plans too, but we can discuss that via email after the meeting is over.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion on the table. Mr. Rutledge, did you have any comment before we move forward?
No, thank you. I do not have any comments right now.
Thank you. We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. I'm going to call the roll. All in favor of the motion, Commissioner Peltier?
Aye.
Commissioner Christian?
Aye.
Commissioner Donnelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs? Oh, sorry. Commissioner Tantanara-Watt?
Aye.
Commissioner Sarfield, aye. So the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, can we revisit Woodland Estates?
Not Woodland Estates, actually. I have I believe, Harlan, was I the peer reviewer on this one? 0 Ashburnham?
I believe so.
No, so I'm coincidentally, I was here. I was just wondering if this modification would be something that you would be looking for an additional peer review. Not that I'm looking to solicit work, but
We may for the wetlands crossing. So I can definitely loop you into that email too.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's move forward to the chair recognizes that Commissioner Jacobs is joining us.
She's back.
I'm back. And let's move forward to the Violations Subcommittee third quarter report. That is in your packet. And have we lost it?
He's here every time.
Do you have anything to say? Okay, so we have the third quarter report. Before we move forward, I'd like, as chair, I would like to recognize everybody from Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3, and thank you for your efforts on the subcommittee because they are definitely important and fantastic, quite honestly. So thank you very much. Thank you to Joyce for her work as chairing the subcommittee, the violation subcommittee. And I'll give the floor to Commissioner Jacobs.
So the third quarter report is basically a lot of what we've been working on, and most of the members here are, except for Brad, we got to get Brad on a committee pretty soon, but have been involved in remediation. If anybody has any questions on the third quarter report, I'll entertain those. Or we can get a couple of updates on a few other projects.
Okay, do we have any questions regarding the third quarter report?
If there are no other questions on the report, can we have a motion to accept our report and a second to submit that to the committee so it's official?
Motion to accept.
Second.
All right. So, Commissioner Peltier?
Aye.
Commissioner Christian?
Aye.
Commissioner Donnelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Aye.
Commissioner Tantanaro, one.
Aye.
Commissioner Sarfield, aye. Once again, I can't thank you enough for the work you've done on this and your commitment to.
We're making progress.
Yes, absolutely. So moving forward, we also need to vote on the enforcement order, correct?
Well, can we I just have a couple of updates on Arn-How Farm.
Oh, go ahead, Joyce.
So we'll just kind of work our way down, because these things happened after the third quarter report was done, because they're very recent. For the new commissioners, 170 Arn-How Farm was filled in a wetland that actually happened in 2019. I'm not addressing Kathy because Kathy's on that committee, so she's up to date on that. And this violation then transferred, the person that created the violation sold the property, so now we're chasing the second owner, all right, because the violations transfer with the property, they don't stay with the owner. Very difficult situation for the new owner, and there was a bit of a contentious relationship with the new owner because they kept saying, I didn't do it, why am I responsible? You can understand where they were coming from. They hired an attorney who did explain to them that we had jurisdiction over this violation, and it was going to be their responsibility. And from that point on, they were very receptive to working with us. We met with the new homeowner, her attorney, went over all the documentation. I'll move along a little bit quickly, but Mary Ann DePinto, that we talk about, a wetland specialist, had originally done the remediation plan for the previous owner. We recommended that they work with her. Plans are already done, just, do that. They did hire her, and she actually went out on site and reviewed the area, marked the wetlands again, and found that since we're 5 years in from the violation, that the area has regenerated on its own. There is a report that you will get with the fourth quarter report. She has all the wetlands plants and pictures and documentation. I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, left alone to its own devices, as the brook flows through this area, the wetlands plants have come back. We went out there, did a site visit, saw where it's all marked off, and we were very happy with how it has regenerated on its own. They had put some chicken coops in that area that we would have liked to have taken out, old chicken coops, but at this point now we would be disturbing what has grown in its place to take the old chicken coops out. So as those fall apart, they're going to become part of, it'll be habitat for someday for some turtle, because it's endangered turtle habitat. So we have closed this case, 170 Arn-How Farm, and tonight we will, if we'll entertain any questions or anybody would like any more. As we left it, she will pay a $300 fine, is our usual fine. We're accepting the wetland scientist's report, and they're putting up signage to delineate, again, Herlin worked with them, about where the signage should go so that no further activity takes place in that area again. And at this point, this committee deems the violation resolved, and we will just need to vote on it so that we can send them confirmation. Herlin, you said she had been in this week and she paid the fine.
So two things. They did get the report from Mary Ann. It was part of the meeting materials package for 170 Arn-How. And Miss Vigil came into the office, paid the $300 on Monday, and then I went out Wednesday morning and marked where I wanted the 4x4 post with the placards to go, and she was getting 3 of them. So we did that already. So I'm just have to go by the site to make sure that they're up, and then that's it. It's a wrap.
So as far as this subcommittee is concerned, we consider this violation has been resolved, and the commission just needs to, again, we need a motion and a second to accept the finalized remediation plan. Commissioner Donnelly, any questions? Because I know you're well aware of what all of this was.
Didn't take a decade. What they're looking for is a certificate of compliance, am I correct?
Well, they don't officially get a certificate of compliance.
Okay.
They get a letter from us saying
Fine.
that the violations we show. And technically, we do need to issue, because there is a violation order on their deed.
Yep.
So we will need to issue a certificate of compliance to remove that violation order from their deed. So yes, technically you are correct, yeah.
That's one.
Once again.
We don't always register violation orders against the deed, but this was very egregious, and so we did. And so now we'll need to remove that.
Okay. So do we have a motion and a second to accept these plans? The remediation plans?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, Kathy, do you have a question?
Yes, the structures that were chicken coops.
Yep.
Were they there with the former owner?
Yes.
Yes.
Mark, I don't know that you can vote on this.
No.
Okay.
No.
You could say it.
Okay. Motion to accept the remediation plan and performance.
Second.
And notify the applicant to request a certificate of compliance so that we can do the next step and remove it from the deed.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Yeah.
I just second.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. All in favor? Let's call the roll. Commissioner Peltier?
Aye.
Commissioner Donnelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Aye.
Commissioner Tantanarawa?
Aye.
Commissioner Sarfield? Aye. Motion passes. And I want to thank everyone for this work. This was an incredible amount of work, and that was completed here, and it took a long time and a lot of effort, so thank you.
I mean, this was a difficult,
Yeah.
For both the previous owner and the new owner were very contentious about not acknowledging that this, wetlands violation even existed. And as we noted, this has been since 2019. It's difficult.
I think the previous owner was well aware of the violation.
Well, yeah, I think they were too. I wasn't involved in it at that time, but
No, thank you.
you had to deal with
Thank you
this
for
quite a
that.
while.
Thank you for that. So let's move forward to 86 Farmer Avenue remediation plan.
86 Farmers Avenue, again, for those that were on that committee, thank you very much. And our remediation plan was presented actually by Chris Anderson of Hannigan Engineering. There was wetland fill that was placed in it's a very steep bank off the back of this house. Very little backyard, goes down in the bank into an intermittent stream. And the fill, first of all, the fill shouldn't have been there anyway, but the fill included rubble, concrete. It's actually a set of concrete stairs. I mean, they're literally trying to, expand their backyard and fill out over the brook, which is unacceptable. They have been working with Herlin. Took a while to get the remediation plan and a site visit, but we finally did. That plan, again, is accepted. All that rubble is going to come out. The bank is going to be restored to its original site. There's a drainage pipe that's going to be refigured. All of this is based on engineered plans that they submitted. They have until January 1st this year to get this remediation plan done. But again, in that case, we accepted the plan of the engineer. The violation is going to be resolved. It'll be by January 1st, or we'll be back at it again with them. But again, we have a plan on the floor to be approved and go forward.
So we need to vote to accept those plans as well. Okay. So can we have a motion and a second to accept the remediation plan for 86 Farmer Avenue?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Peltier?
Aye.
Commissioner Christian?
Aye.
Commissioner Donnelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Aye.
Commissioner Tantanarwat?
Aye.
Commissioner Sarfield, aye. Thank you very much. And now we have 71 Rodimon Avenue.
71 Rodimon Ave, and I think, Herlin, in your packet, this is a very recent violation. The gentleman that owned that property actually took an excavator and scooped out to clean out. Is it an intermittent stream, Herlin, or is it a running brook?
No, it's an intermittent stream. It's a tributary to Pierce Pond that's above Winoosknock.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's familiar with that area.
Yeah.
So it feeds into that, and then if you look at the street Rodimon, it goes straight through every single property, and then it branches out to behind the Kmart Plaza.
And comes out on Merriam Ave. Yeah.
So you can also see some compaction here from the machinery that was used to expand this. I'm not sure what the purpose or logic was, but I received a call from an abutter, and we went on site, and I was able to. This was a picture I took while I was there, and I reached out to the applicant. I've mailed them a certified letter and a regular letter with a fine of $300, and I have not heard back. And that was on. I have to get my dates in order, but it was about 2.5 weeks ago. I would like to request the commission to approve another fee to go out due to the lack of response. I think 2 weeks is enough time to respond from a notice, and we haven't heard back.
So the first thing we need to do is I will put a motion on the
Yes.
floor to ratify the enforcement order that was issued by Herlin with an initial $300 fine. So we have to ratify the enforcement order first. That motion is on the floor.
Second.
Comment?
Yep.
Nah, thanks.
Yeah.
So I went out to the site. Well, the owner of the property doesn't live at the property. It's a relative living there at any rate. So what we've got is every house on that street has a wetland in their backyard, and that it's an intermittent stream by virtue of what everybody has done to create a drainage ditch so that the water, it's at the lowest point. The wetland, the edge of the wetland where it meets the improved yard, there's a ditch. So, because I talked with the owner, he cleared it out so that water would run and not be held up. So it's clear that everybody along there has created that to allow the water to pass. The slower it goes, then the more the wetland expands. So they wanted to keep it moving. So he did that. He knows enough that it was about in a wetland, and he knows to come in and get a notice of applicability or whatever, NOI. So the $300 violation, I think it's in order. Would the commission have allowed it had he come in? That's a question we'd have to ask.
Well, but that's not the question right now. The fact that it was done without it is where we are right now, that the violation order was issued, and we need to ratify that because that's in the Wetlands Protection Act, that once that's issued, the full commission needs to ratify that.
No problem. I'm getting there. Yeah, I get it. And I think it's an easy one, but I'm looking at it. Would we have allowed it? And the people to the right and the left, they haven't cleared theirs out. And he's the one person that did, or maybe they have. They certainly have over time, because otherwise it'd probably be thicker than it currently is. But I have a novel approach to this fine. There's a provision that the Conservation Commission has that you can do something in lieu of.
Yes.
And I have no problem hitting him for a $300 penalty. But I entertain that $300 go to a wetland organization that's near to my heart, Ducks Unlimited. So $300 and in lieu of to the Conservation Commission to a wetland organization. I might add the largest private, not-for-profit wetland conservation organization in the world, Ducks Unlimited. The Nashua River has a chapter.
Sounds like a solicitation that's not allowable. Sounds like a solicitation that's not allowable.
It's in lieu of, and yes, it is. Riverfront Park, the developer of Riverfront Park said he would never pay the Conservation Commission anything in lieu of. He chose to give the money to the state or something of that nature rather than spend it at home. So it's allowable.
All right, but let's go back. Agent Jamie issued a violation order. The full commission needs to ratify that violation order, whether or not there's a fine attached to it or not. The enforcement order needs to be ratified by the full commission at its next meeting. Let's start with that, can we please?
Did you put a motion out?
We do have a motion and a second. Yeah, we have a motion and a second on the table. Commissioner Peltier?
Aye.
Commissioner Christian?
Aye.
Commissioner Donnelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Aye.
Commissioner Tantanara-Watt?
Aye.
Commissioner Satterfield, aye. So the motion ratifying the enforcement order passes.
And for clarification, all violations start off with a $300 fee. So that $300 initial fee went out on October 7th with the violation notice. I am asking if the commission would approve a second fee be tacked on for the lack of responsiveness. If the gentleman was there and spoke to you, he could have easily called my number like stated on the letter, and a discussion could have been had with me, the agent. And that did not happen in the month that was given to him. And as far as what the commission have allowed this previously, I can't speak for the commission, but as the agent, I would have advised to not allow this because we don't allow it for anybody else. When you buy a property abutting wetlands, it is your duty to research that, and you willfully buy a property abutting wetlands.
And this was done with heavy equipment. I mean, this wasn't a pick and shovel. I mean, this was a front-end loader. You can see the tire tracks.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
No, I know you sent this out where they sent a letter to like attend this hearing, or was it just?
No, it was just so that they could contact me.
Okay.
Yep. And
Should another letter go out with the violation and telling them that they should?
the second letter will go out. I've been on the abutter side of the property because when I go with my vest that says conservation, nobody opens the door. So I've been to the abutter's property, and so it's not for lack of trying is what I'm trying to say. You know, I don't feel like I'm a combative person when it comes to addressing these matters. I try to be amicable. People make mistakes. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't know. But if you get a letter in the mail, I would hope that you would respond.
Commissioner Donnelly, I have one comment. First of all, I am not sure about the legalities of fine, donation in lieu of fine.
I am.
But I also don't want to set a precedent here. I mean, a fine is a fine is a fine. We want to support your organization, and maybe we can find another way, but a fine is a fine, and it should be paid to the commission.
Maybe the second fine.
Maybe the second fine, but that still needs to be paid to the commission, and then we can choose to make a donation.
Yeah, I like that.
So that it's legal and it's gone through the channels. A fine is a fine.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
as a
I
member
just throwing
here,
it out there.
as a member, I like the idea of making a donation to one of our partners and possibly other partners, the other stakeholders in what we do. Ducks Unlimited is certainly one of our great stakeholders in what we do.
The Nashua River chapter. Yeah, and I wouldn't mind doubling up that fine, $600 if we could direct it to a not-for-profit wetland organization. I'd support that as well.
All right, so let's start with where we are now. A motion on the table to issue a second fine for noncompliance.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor? Commissioner Peltier?
Aye.
Commissioner Christian?
Aye.
Commissioner Donnelly?
I cannot support that unless I get what I want. No. No on the side, no on that one.
Okay, Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Aye.
Commissioner Tantanarwat?
Aye.
Commissioner Satterfield, aye. Let's collect that fine, and then we'll
Yeah,
just...
if you have a connection with the person that owns the house, tell them to pay the fine so that we can get it in our coffers to begin with.
And then we, I think, just like we belong to the Nashua River Watershed Association, perhaps the commission should join Ducks Unlimited.
I have a suggestion also, if maybe while Commissioner Donnelly is talking to the property owner or the person living in the property, he can phone the agent up and I can zoom over.
I just went over. And I went in the backyard. I didn't ask anybody. I saw what was done. And then I made a telephone call. And the telephone call was what's going on, because I wanted to be informed about what was going on. And I know what was going on. I know what he did. I know why he did it. And makes sense to me. It's a violation. And he knows it's a violation. And he got caught.
Okay, so we're all...
Pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
This extra $300 I would have supported if I had some assurance that we'd keep it in-house. Keep it sort of in-house, kind of.
Awesome.
And I'll be on the phone with them.
Can we, so moving forward, can we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes for the regular meeting of the November 1st, 2023 regular meeting? All in favor?
Motion?
Motion to accept.
Okay,
Second.
awesome. Commissioner Peltier?
Aye.
Commissioner Christian?
Aye.
Commissioner Donnelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Aye.
Commissioner Tantanarwat?
Aye.
Commissioner Satterfield, aye. And lastly, can we have a motion and a second to adjourn?
Can I have one more really quick?
Yes.
For the, again, commissioners that have been on here, and I'll update the newer commissioners. I understand from Herlin we have plans coming in for the remediation of 46 Sheldon.
Yes, sorry. We received an email yesterday from Alton Stone, who is a consultant working with the applicant, with the property owner. He was requesting to file an NOI, and
Is this the guy?
it's not what we requested of him.
Former?
So we are going to schedule a meeting to meet and go over the plans that are complete. So that should be wrapping up shortly as well.
And may I? A constituent, a Fitchburg resident, said that absentee hybrid meetings, hybrid communication didn't satisfy him. It was difficult to hear and to get a full picture, a full earful of people that were attending our meetings on a hybrid fashion. And he was hoping to see us discontinue that. It's not just with this board, but across the board, that the hybrid meetings aren't working for him. And so the commission, we've already made an accommodation or requirement that initially they have to be present with the commission entertain full attendance.
I'm confused. The constituent is in-house and then can't hear the people talking on the screen, or is the constituent at home?
He's at home.
Okay.
He's at
So
home.
the constituent can come into the building.
Well, they're not
Public
here.
hearing.
Yeah, they're not here. Well, believe me, he was here tonight. He's losing it in the translation. That's his concern.
Okay.
It gets lost in the translation. Either. So.
But if we don't have hybrid meetings, that means that he's not going to be able to participate online.
No, applicants.
Well,
It's just, why do we have him here on the first meeting? For the same reason he wants him here every meeting.
Okay, so he can be here every meeting. This is a public forum, but I'm so confused because if he does not.
Well, we made an allowance for the people to join us hybrid, applicants. And he simply wants applicants to be here. Listen, prior to 1920, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so he wants to return to prior to that. He wants to dismiss the technology available.
Yeah, I don't think that's allowable yet. So the reason we continue it is because the law keeps continuing.
Yeah.
So this is not governed by the municipality. Our overhead, the Commonwealth of Mass, states that we have to provide hybrid meetings. So we do.
For the applicant?
For everybody.
No, this,
Well, excuse me, we trumped it, and we said on the initial application, they had to be present. So we've made that exception to the state law. We could make, it would seem to me, if we made that exception, we could continue it, second meeting, third meeting, fourth meeting,
Well,
any
they
applicant.
probably could
any
push
applicant.
back on us and say, I don't have to be there in person because the state is still allowing hybrid meetings, but most of them don't, they come in.
I invited you to entertain somebody's request.
thank you.
I get these.
Yeah, so entertained. Can I have
Motion-
a
motion to
motion and a
adjourn?
second to adjourn? Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Commissioner Peltier?
Aye.
Commissioner Christian? Commissioner Donnelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Wallace?
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Aye.
Commissioner Tantanarwa?
Aye.
Commissioner Sarahfield, aye. Thank you so much for your commitment to public service and to the natural resources.
Thank you.